Hello everyone, I'm Matt with Sun's Chimney Service, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Intrepid 2, the Vermont Castings Intrepid 2, model 1990. And the one that I actually have on my floor here is porcelain enamel. It's done in the Bordeaux enamel, so it's a really nice red slash maroon. And I have the warming shelves on the side of it just to show kind of all the options that are available for it. What we'll be looking at a little bit more in detail is really inside of the stove, the damper operation, and also the thermostatically air controlled piece on the back of this. So I'll start with first opening it up, and one of the classic things on all Vermont castings is the fall away handle. So this is typically placed to the side or on top of, depending on how it lays out best in your home. But the fall away handle is great just because you don't have a hot handle. Handle goes into the stove, you turn, and there goes my double doors. They open up just like that. The front is actually the secondary loading option for most people, just because it's more convenient to top load on stoves. But what the front gives you is just kind of a nice traditional front view. What you can see here is the two andirons. These andirons are removable, so if you are loading from the front and would like to remove these, it's easy enough to do. Removable and replaceable if you happen to break them or if they happen to wear down over time. On the bottom, which you can't really see from this angle, but maybe we'll get a better shot of it a little bit later, is the actual grate. The grate's ideal because you can get some of your ash to fall down. The ash would fall down into your ashtray here, and still get my manual and so forth in there. And I got some old dirt and gunk in here. And it's a pretty small size ashtray, but it's a pretty small stove. It goes back in. This stove is really rated for about 1,200 square feet. It fits about a 16-inch log. It's kind of ideal for a zone heating arrangement. You're only going to get about 6 to 8 hours burn time out of it. I think that's being pretty reasonable. I'd really feel more comfortable in the 4 to 6 range. But the beauty of this stove is that it is a in the back here we have our rear secondary combustion back here. So that's our catalytic operation. Back behind this is our catalyst. And maybe I'll get another view of it if I can't see it all that well. But realistically, by the time I'll take down the top here. By the time my fuel comes out of here, or my exhaust comes out of here, I've burnt my fuel twice. But just hold on with us for a minute and we'll give you a shot of the back. Alright, so now taking a look at the back of the stove here. The way that this stove really gets the most efficiency, and most Vermont castings for that, is the bypass damper, and really kind of forcing all of your exhaust into the non-catalytic, or in this case the catalytic combustion chamber. So this right here is the actual damper, the bypass damper. Right now I have it closed. When I put it down, you might have heard that, but that's the sound of that damper dropping down. Just to the left of it is the air control on this stove. And neatly enough on the back here they have an indication of plus and minus, so plus air or less air. This is thermostatically controlled, so what that means is that as my stove heats up, it slowly starts cutting back on the air. But if you've burnt a wood stove or really a catalytic stove in the past, you know that some of this is big time manual user operation, where you're going to know kind of the peak levels to put this at. So I can still manually set this as I please. Typically with the catalytic stove, we want to get up to about 450 degrees before we're kicking on the bypass damper and closing it. And then at that point, as we get to that temperature and our air starts scaling back, once my fire cools down to 300 degrees or so, then I start opening my air back up again. But this is really the primary system with this Vermont casting and with many of them. This is how you can get such a small stove like this to really hold a long fire and to heat a pretty adequate amount of space, just because the efficiency of this catalytic system. Alright, and so now we're just going to take a closer look inside of the stove. So you can see the actual bypass damper, and then beneath it is kind of the access for the catalytic converter. So that is that's really just that's all it is, just a couple cast iron pieces there, and then the chamber behind it is usually a combination of refractory and ceramic. In conclusion, we really like this little Intrepid 2 stove. It's really kind of just the right size for most homes. It's really ideal because it's a nice small footprint and it puts out a good amount of heat. It can hold a 16-inch log, and that's what's kind of made it one of the favorites in the Northeast here. One of the common questions I get, and this spans across most warming shelves, is people always see these little things right here. Well, these are what we call Mitten Warmers. So the purpose of these is that when I go out into the snow and I'm throwing snowballs and all that stuff and having a great time sledding, I come back in with my snow-riddled gloves and all that, and I can put it on here, and this actually swings right around to the front of the stove. So I mean, it's not important to everybody, but it's just something neat that they usually include with all their warming shelves. Once again, this is Matt with Sun's Chimney signing off. Thank you for watching the video.